Yo, what is the deal, everybody? Welcome to another Raider Nation Unlimited. I'm your man, Wasted Talent. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Oh, my God. It's been a month of Sundays since we've been on. Get wasted with your brother, Wasted. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Share this thing out to all social medias. I'm going to be honest with you, man. It is a rainy, crappy kind of a day. It's starting to clear up a little bit. Been in the rain all day. Ready to talk some Raider ball? Man, Violators in a place, man. Salute to man, you know what's crazy? I need to ask you a question, for real, man. Would you do me the honor of being one of my moderators? Because, you know, I really would like somebody who is level-headed to throw people out of here like the scalded dogs that they are when they come in here disrespecting. And I know Violator will keep order in this chat. Nah, yo, listen, man. Shout out to Violator, man, the great and powerful, man. And shout out to Joshua Anderson, Diego, J Raider, Sixto DS, Blazing Raider. Oh, my goodness, man. We got over 100 in the room, so it's time to cook. Ain't no way is in the place, man. Anthony, starting off the show in the gulags all the time. My guy, Herman Munster is in the place, man. Where you been, Herman? Oh, my goodness. Man, everybody, DeMokes is in the place with his filth. Talk about ALC for MVP again. Well, guys, look. See, that's right. That is right. That is right. We got to act like adults in here. Yeah, man. But it has been a minute, man. It's been a minute. You know, guys, you know the good thing about this offseason? This offseason has kind of restored my faith in the process, right? Trusting the process. I'm fully engaged, right? Cautious optimism. We spoke about this. We've been talking about this all year, right? There's not a sense of haphazardness when it comes to the way we are going about our business in the front office and the Raiders. But from a content perspective, it is a situation where, you know, it's still waters. We treading water until, you know, we get to camp. We tread in water until it's preseason. But listen, what I will tell you is this, guys. This offseason has been one for the ages. Now, there's some things that have come up that I want to get into, right? I want to get into, you know, just exactly where we stand with the Christian Wilkins situation and how I view it. Big man with a foot injury is never good. I said that the whole time when it actually happened, right? I want to get into the rumors of Mike Hilton and Justin Simmons, right? Because that's what they are, just rumors. We want to get into a little more Raider news, right? And guys, you know, we are going to, you know, just cook, man. Cook for the next hour and some change. And you guys let me know whether or not you guys have anything that you guys want to get into. And also, I want to get into the Jack Jones interview, man. It's very, very, you know, it's kind of sad, man. It's kind of sad, bro. You know, I feel bad for Jack Jones, man, because of the fact that, you know, he's a guy who kind of can't outrun the perception of him. You know what I mean? You know, and let's get started off with the Jack Jones situation, man. You know, I know Jack Jones is no longer a Raider, right? But, you know, I wish Jack Jones the best. When he was here with the Raiders, he had some ups and downs, but he had a lot more ups and downs here with the Raiders, man. And Jack Jones has sat down with a podcast this weekend, right? And he pretty much is letting everybody know that his services are for sale and he wants a job, man. You know, I mean, listen, he is a guy who has had an immense amount of big moments for the Raiders, right? Highlight real stuff, right? A lot of talent. It's just, you know, a situation where it has not been enough to rectify his image. It has not been enough to put him in a position where his career might not be in jeopardy. Now, he's starting to, take responsibility for some of the things about Jack Jones that are kind of out there with people in NFL circles. And he kind of touched on why things didn't work out for him in the last two spots, man. And I quote, Jack Jones said, "It's me. It's nothing else," Jones said on the pivot. He said, "Playing in the NFL is a privilege. And if you don't take advantage of that privilege, you are going to lose it in a heartbeat. I just can't wait to prove myself for the next team. I'm working out every day, just going hard, ready to prove myself and show that I am who I say I am, not who they say I am." And you know what, man? Jack was, look, man, if I'm being honest, man, Jack was a 50-50 kind of a guy, right? He can do things that are spectacular for you, and also he could be a liability. I think after he was called out by Antonio Pierce last year about his putrid tackling, he made a pretty good effort. I kind of knew when Pete Carroll came in here that he is not the archetype of what kind of corner that Pete Carroll normally goes for. And look, man, there have been some games where Jack has been phenomenal. There have been other games where he's given up some really, really big plays, man. And most of the time that's from getting too aggressive, right? And not trusting the scheme, and just kind of trying to go for that highlight play. And I think there's been a bit much of that. I mean, look, it hasn't worked out for two other stops, right? So the next stop that he gets might be his last one, right? It might be his last one. Now, Jack Jones was a guy who got into a little legal trouble with the New England Patriots. I think a little bit much was made of that, right? And then with us, it was typically things that were on the field, not so much off the field stuff. And, look, man, I just wish Jack the best, man. I wish him the best, man. I hope that he could find a place of consistency. I hope that he could find a place he can call home. And I really would have loved for it to work out here with the Raiders. You know what I mean? Now, when you start talking about, Jack Jones as a player, and that's the thing that we, look, we're concerned about the person, right? We definitely are. We're concerned about the person, but this is a football podcast and we got to talk about the player right now. Pro Football Focus, and let me pull this up for everybody. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Shout out to the Green Dot Gang. Shout out to Graphic Raiders in the place, man. Hey, and Dan Teaser, look, let me tell you something, Dan. There will be no mention of this nonsense in my chat again. This gout nonsense. It is starting to teeter on disrespect. You will be unceremoniously blocked with your leather face ass. Get it together, leave it alone. I want to start blocking people up in here. Teaser. Face looking like a damn cat. That's it. CGR, that's it. That is it. Time out for you, buddy Roll. The damn eggplants. What is wrong with you? Don't you start with that crap. There's a damn good show going, and you start with your nonsense again. Now let's get in some PFL. CGR, you have been blocked for 300 seconds. Get F up out of here with your crap. Now, his grades were 53.9, had a pass rush grade of 80.2, man. Jack Jones off the edge like Reggie White. Run defense grade of 58.6 and coverage grade of 52.9. It's pretty low. It's 168 out of 222 possible guys, right? So let's get into the numbers last year. He had 59 solo tackles, 12 assists, 0 forced fumbles, 22 stops, 15 missed tackles, 3 picks, which was decent, right? The passer rating allowed was not great, 115. Yards per reception was fair, right? Pass breakups 10, receptions allowed 54, which is pretty high, right? Now, Jack Jones is a guy that, like I said, man, I was hoping and praying that it worked out for us, but I really did not think that he was a guy that was going to stick on with us. Happy trails, Jack Jones. He has some banner moments for the Raiders, man, and I'm really wishing the kid the best, man. I really am. CGR, you know why you're in the gulag, CGR. You know why you're in this gulag. Don't you even start with your nonsense. This is a family show. This guy's up here putting up eggplants. the F up out of here. And Teaser, listen, I can only talk about the avatar. Never had another man judge my face, but you. Do you. Teaser, I'm just saying that your face looks like a catcher's mitt. That's all I'm saying, brother. I'm not saying it's a good catcher's mitt or a bad catcher's mitt. It is catcher mitt-esque. Effing Teaser. Frank Zappa himself up in here. Sick of your crap. All right, so let's get to rolling, guys. Let's get to rolling, man. You know, look, there's been a lot of smoke around this whole secondary situation right now. A lot of people, what the hell just happened here? Oh my goodness, what the hell is going on here? Now, when we start talking about the Raiders, one thing that has been brought up constantly this offseason has been the secondary, right? And the usual suspects has been Jalen Ramsey. Jalen Ramsey has been flirting with the Raiders, most of his career, wanting to come and play in silver and black. Jaire Alexander is a guy who people mention because he has played at a very, very high level in this league. And, people might see a deficiency in that secondary group. Now, the Raiders have gone out there. They've added to the linebacker group. They've added to the defensive line in the draft. I mean, almost every other positional group has been added to, right? So when you start talking about the secondary has been, but it hasn't been a name, right? So we start doing Raider gematria. We start drawing the parallels to whatever player coming into the organization. Now, there is a distinct need at nickel cornerback. Mike Hilton is a name that's been floated around. We will get into that. Don't jump the line. We'll get into that. But Justin Simmons is a guy that people are floating out there to come to the Raiders. Now, this is the thing, man. The Raiders could be easy, you know what I mean, to kind of draw that parallel between Justin Simmons because, he would be a savvy starter on the back end of the defense, right? He's a guy that Pete Carroll, a bigger player. He's a guy that Pete Carroll could possibly look at and say, hey, man, let me put this kid back there with Jeremy Chin, right? Right. I'd have to see what it looks like with the cap, right? But the Raiders also have a pass game coordinator named Joe Woods, who served as Simmons' first defensive back coach in Denver. So there is a parallel of sorts, right? Not a huge parallel. If I'm being honest, I think Justin Simmons winds up in the NFC, and I think he winds up with the Philadelphia Eagles, right? I mean, it's a fit that makes all the sense of the world. It is something that Howie Roseman has been known for, going out and getting big name free agents, right? And Simmons has publicly and repeatedly identified the Eagles as his preferred destination, right? So there's kind of like fringe interest from the Raiders. There are a lot of people that bring it up in Raider Nation, but if I'm being honest, guys, I don't think this one happens, right? Because, almost every free agent that's out there, people pretty much put in the lap of the Raiders, and I don't really see it happening like that, man. But shout out to my guy, Rudy the Vet Russo. What's good, Wasted? Hotep and Bill. Internet 2 weeks out. Let's go. My brother, Salute Nation. Salute to my guy, Rudy the Vet Russo, with the first $10 slapperoonie of the day. The first $10 slapperoonie of the day. Shout out to my guy, Rudy the Vet Russo, man. Got to get this guy some freaking snaps up in here, man. My dog, Rudy, man. My guy, Raider Felon, is in the place, man. Wasted. Good evening, you bum. Just pulling up. Raider Felon, you ever call me an effing bum again, you also will get unceremoniously blocked and thrown under the bus. You come here with your crap. You guys are getting a little disrespectful lately, man. You guys are getting a little disrespectful. I don't like this. Raider Loso, you better be quiet. Freedom of speech. Yo, listen, man. Let me tell you something. There could be as much freedom of speech as you want over at Dox's channel. This ain't no damn OLV over here. This is Raider Nation FN Unlimited, and we will not tolerate this crap. Crap, you can get the F up out of here. No one asked you. I bleed silver and black, but the Donkeys have the best secondary in our division, and I wish we would just bring in one proven cornerback. Now, Keith England, man, a lot of us wish that the Raiders would bring in a proven corner, right? But if we're being honest, right, you know, there are a lot of resources that have been allocated to the front end of that defense, right? And the fact that Christian Wilkins is in a situation where we don't really know where that's going to go. Now, listen, when Christian Wilkins first got hurt, I was miffed. I was dismayed. I was just in shambles, because when you have a Jones fracture, right, and when you start talking about the Jones fracture, and I think it's time for us to transition into Christian Wilkins talk, right? When you have a Jones fracture, that is a small bone in your foot. You know, it is a very small bone. It is a situation where, you know, I've seen people like Derrick Henry have a Jones fracture, and it works, right? He comes in, they do what they have to do. Everything's all good. Everything's all good. The bone heals. But the thing is with Christian Wilkins, that sometimes in that 20% chance, if it doesn't heal, it might re-break. They might have to go back in there and do something else. And that's not great for a big man with a foot injury, man. Big man with a foot injury is never a good deal. But yo, so this is the thing, man. When it happens, man, it's a break in the toe, right? And the important thing is where the bone breaks from. And this is from the athletics and one of the best doctors in that field having a conversation with Ted Nyguen and the athletic, right? So he goes, the important thing is where it breaks, and he has a little bit of a dicey blood supply. So what they did is they most likely put a screw, and this is explaining what happened with Christian Wilkins without any inside knowledge. What they did is they most likely put a screw through the bone to basically compress it together and get it to heal. And when that heals, when it goes smoothly, it's no problem. The refracture rate, re-injury rate down the road are actually very low. You may remember Derrick Henry several years ago, and I just brought this up, had the same injury. You haven't heard about it since. And that's kind of the most common route that we see in the data. The one hiccup is where there is a rate of about 20% of players having this issue healing in the first place. And that's even despite the surgery going well. So what I suspect, or at least my concern level, is somewhat raised for given that he was off the boot and then he went back on it. Was that maybe that they advanced him a little fast, or he was having sort of symptoms as a result, and they re-imaged and further imaged the injury and they went back in? Now, it suggests that maybe it didn't heal all the way around. He said, you think of a bone as a cylinder, and if it heals all the way around, that's going to be 100%. But we can kind of grade it in terms of percentage of how much did the bone unite. And the suspicion or the concern, did a lower percentage of it actually reform there? Now, I know I kind of went off into the minutia here, so let me take over, right? So, look, the thing is with Christian Wilkins, right? The fact that they had him in a boot and had him around and had him doing drills and stuff goes to show you that they thought it was going in a better situation. And to me, and this is with no inside knowledge, right? The bone probably did not heal properly, right? And in that case, man, it might require some revision surgery. Now, we haven't heard anything from the Raiders. And if he underwent that sort of thing, he would have probably had it already, because this happened a long time ago, man. So, look, if he had the surgery already, right, and he was in a boot, it suggests that he's trending in the right direction. So I suspect that, you know, as things get progressively better, you will see Christian Wilkins. I don't think that Christian Wilkins is going to be out for the season. I really think that you'll see, and this is just me guessing, I really think that you might see Christian Wilkins towards the end of camp. Shout out to everybody, man. The most. Give me my privileges. I'll make sure you won't see any filth in your chat. Trust. I don't know if I can trust you, the most. I don't know. CGR, now listen, hold on. Let's stop with all of the Raiders stuff. CGR, Have you learned your lesson? Have you learned your lesson? Now, CGR, listen, you got to set the example. You are a mod father. You're in here acting a fool. The F is wrong with you. My God, wait. If Wilkins became a free agent this year, do you think Spytek and Carroll would have wanted to sign him? Whether the contract is bigger or less than what Telesco gave him, I'm going to be real with you, probably not. It doesn't look like their MO, right? Like, they red circled 2 kids in his draft, and JJ Pegues and Tonka Hemingway that they brought in, right? They went out there, they re-signed Adam Butler, they liked what they had. I don't know if John Spytek and Pete Carroll would have gone outside of the building for that kind of player. I would have probably thought that if they didn't have Christian Wilkins and they didn't have that amount of money allotted to them, they probably would have went Vita Vea, tried to go work a deal for Vita Vea or maybe big Leonard Williams. You know, because it seems like they're the kind of guys who like to have that familiarity with some of the moves that they make. But I'm gonna be honest with you, Kush Mob, and that's a damn good question. I don't think that he would be a guy that they would have went out there and got, man. Jay, yeah, you're right. I mean, the one thing with Christian Wilkins, and I don't know if this has anything to do with it, but him jumping over guys' heads and stuff after sacks and flopping around and tackling each other. It looks like they're having a good time, but I'm going to be real. This is not something that I think is conducive to them staying on the field. And I really wish that when he comes back that they stop with that crap. Seriously, like that. Look, it is never good to see a guy that's over 300 pounds, hurtling over another player's head and landing on his foot like that. That's a lot of shock to that injury. And look, man, Jones fractures are tricky, man. And when you start having situations where they have to re-image, they got to, go back in with the knife. Anytime you got to go in the knife again, it's never a good situation. You got almost 400 in the room. Get wasted with your brother. Wasted. Tell a friend and tell a friend. Share this thing out to all social media. Shout out to everybody in the chat, man. My guy CGR is in the place. Robert Cicinero, get the F up out of here. Dubzilla. Like a chewed piece of pork fat. The F up out of here. The F up out of here, man. Now, guys, there was a move that was made in with Jermaine Pratt. A lot of us love it. A lot of people are a little on the fence with it. And I'm going to be real with you, man. I'm reserving my judgment on a Jermaine Pratt deal because this is the thing. I'm very, very curious about whether Jermaine Pratt was not a product of a bad defense or whether he was the issue, right? Very, very concerned about that, right? So, us as a fan base, we're super excited about bringing another linebacker in, man. This is, pretty far into the offseason. Devin White is a guy that we're excited about. We feel like we're upgrading our group and all of that, right? So, it wasn't like we broke the bank bringing in Jermaine Pratt. He's a guy that is a thumper, pretty decent tackler. And I'm going to be honest with you, man. I am very, very curious. I'm very curious, right? Because this is the thing, right? I don't know how robust of a market that Jermaine had, right? I really don't know. Because last year, he posted a coverage grade of 53.4 and an overall grade of 60.6, right? A run defensive grade at 70.1. And people say, he's a great tackler, right? People say he's a great tackler. But he missed 19 tackles in 2024, right? So when you have a ton of tackles, that can go 1-2 ways, right? Maybe it's because of the amount of opportunities he was there. He was sticking his head in there. He was always in the play. But 19 missed tackles is big, right? It's big. And see, this is the thing, right? If the defensive line is not doing the best job, sometimes it puts the linebacker in a very adverse situation, right? But this is the thing, man. Pratt was targeted 79 times last season. according to Sports Info Solutions, right? It was more than any linebacker. He allowed 62 catches out of his 79 times, 659 yards and 3 touchdowns. And that's the most by any linebacker in the league in all categories. So when QBs target him, they see an abnormal amount of success against him. He has a 103.5 rating when targeted, right? So I got to ask you guys something, right? Was it a lapse in judgment? Is it an IQ thing? Right? Was, it a lack in athleticism? Like, what do you think it was, right? Because, Pratt being an off-the-ball linebacker, playing a run, great. Rushing the passer on blitz plays, okay, it's pretty good, right? But this is the thing. He still has to cover, man. Still has to cover. And that is the thing I'm super, super concerned about. There are a lot of people that are very, very hyped about this move. But if I'm being honest, man, I need to see Jermaine Pratt in the confines of this defense with Max and them guys up front. I need to see him with Patrick Graham and Pete Carroll and how they're going to use him to be successful, right? Because, I was really, really excited about the Pratt deal. You guys know that. I said we needed another linebacker. But now that I'm seeing this, I am a little leery. I'm a little leery. Shout out to my guy, Mr. SHS53 with the $2 slapperoonie. Got to bring Carl Nassib energy and Pride Month. Yo, shout out to you, bro. Rated profit wasted. This D will be like the autumn wind again. Yo, my brother, let me tell you something, man. From your lips to God's ears. And I'm going to be honest with you. That is what she said. That is what she said. And subsequently, that's what she said again. The drums are back. The drums are back, everyone. CGR with the $1.49 super sticker. CGR, thank you for making the Wasted Talent Army grow in droves. Thank you for supporting the channel, my guy. My guy, Loso. Who was our top cover linebacker on the roster, Wasted? This is the thing, man. I mean, at this point, you really don't know. You really don't know because Devin White has not been good at covering, right? Tommy Eichenberg, we have a very, very limited sample size, right? We have a very limited sample size. I'd have to go. So what I'm going to do is, because I don't want to give you my opinion. I want to give you facts, right? I'm going to go in here and I'm going to go through all their coverage numbers. But, yeah, Jermaine Pratt definitely didn't do well last year. They say it will be Gainer, but you can't really say that. The sample size is way too small to say it's Amari Gainer. Way too small. Ain't no way. Yeah, he did. He picked it. He was the man who picked off DC. Yes. My God, classic man. He goes, this is me. I think Pratt can cover. I just think their defense was ass and they checked out over there. Now, classic man, Q, look, this is what we're dealing with here, right? So is it Jermaine Pratt or is it because the defense was bad? We will soon see. We will soon see, bro. But look, man, I cannot discount the fact that he was historically bad in coverage last year. He was historically bad. Shout out to everybody who's sharing, the stream on Twitter, man. Shout out to everybody on Twitter, too. I don't show enough love to the people who watch on Twitter, man. Salute to every single one of y'all. I appreciate you guys for supporting this platform, man. And listen, come on over to YouTube. We have cookies. And listen, if you guys not have hit that like or that subscribe button, what the F are you waiting for, man? This is some of the great Raider content that there ever was. My guy, Anthony Cabrera. I'm hearing a lot about Brock being better this year. I'm of the opinion that if we have a balanced offense, his numbers will dip. And I'm okay with that. Much love, my brother. Anthony Cabrera, my dog. Got a supportive since day one. And the thing is that your numbers can dip in one perspective and they can rise in another, right? So, like, if Brock Bowers catches more touchdowns, but he doesn't have as many catches and yards, then to me, that's a win, right? A lot of the times, man, it's things like that. But I think with tight ends get theirs no matter what. And if you have a balanced offense, there's always that opportunity for your tight end to take a play that was a broken play, to take a play up the middle of the field and turn chicken salad into chicken crap. Yo, my God, had we not signed Wilkins last year and had that money this year, do you think we would have used that money this year on Ramsey or Gilmore or Simmons? Bro, what I never like to do is I do not like to give you conjecture, right? I like to give you facts. I don't know what they would have done with that money, right? But I know having that money is a lot better than not having it. But the thing is also, let's say we get the asset back, because Christian Wilkins is an asset, right? He is a guy who is one of the better players at his position in his league, right? So if Christian Wilkins comes back and plays meaningful snaps for the Raiders this year, then that's a whole nother ball of wax. Then you don't care about the money, right? If you get Christian Wilkins at the height of his powers, then you don't care about the money. You don't care. The question is, how healthy is he, and will he be rocking and rolling and ready to go? Now, he got hurt in game 5 last year. He missed most of the season, and he had a whole offseason to heal. And I'm going to be real with you. I am going to be super worried if he's not suiting up week 1. Super worried. Mackie ENT says he never thought he was worth that contract. I mean, Mackie. I mean, if not him, then who, right? If not him, then who? If not him, then who? If you're in the market for a defensive tackle, right? Players like Christian Wilkins do not come available, very often. Now, if you're talking about, from 2019 to 2020, right, you're talking about one of the very best in the National Football League. So if he's not worth the money, then who is, right? This is a guy that, as a rookie, 56 tackles, 2 sacks, 47 tackles, 1.5 sacks, 1 interception. 2021, 89 tackles, 4.5 sacks, just disruptive as hell. 2022, 98 tackles, 3.5 sacks. And then in 2023, man, he had 65 tackles and 9 sacks. I mean, the guy was starting to become a threat up in the middle of the field, rushing the passer. That's something that you can't buy, right? So with our Raiders, he was doing okay. He had 2 sacks out the gate, 17 tackles, got hurt in week 5. So that season probably would have looked a lot like the season in 2023 with the Dolphins. Now, if you have a healthy player and you have a guy that's viable, he's on the field, he's playing next to Max Crosby, then now, my friends, now you have something that is really, really worth doing and dealing with. The F are you talking about, DeMokes? My guy, Lewis Dixon. Any word on Shaquille Griffin? I would like to see us sign Hilton. I would guess Pratt and Hilton would know each other's instincts as well. I mean, that's not necessarily, they played together. That doesn't mean they know each other's instincts right now. Word is Shaquille Griffin came to the Raiders headquarters, worked out, met with team, did not leave with a deal. I mean, he's a guy that Pete Carroll knows. I think that the Raiders are kind of, being methodical about this process and just instead of running out there and just signing somebody. And I prefer this method. I'm going to say it like Dr. Umar Johnson for the 3rd time. I prefer this method. Oh, my God. My guy, Raider Profit with the $5 holler. Wasted. I asked Graphic this already, but what do you see as our greatest improvement in the red zone? We need TDs and not field goals. I mean, the greatest improvement in the red zone is, what we did in the interior line, starting the season out of the gate with Jackson Powers Johnson in the middle, right? And also, Dylan Parham being another year stronger, another year wiser. And some of the things that they're doing, like moving Thayer Munford in the middle. And also, if I'm being honest, adding an Ashton Genty. Ashton Genty was probably the alpha, the omega, the exclamation point with the dot for the Raiders in the red zone this season. If he is the goods and he is who we think he can be, having Ashton Genty is like worth his weight in gold in the red zone. You see it all year with guys like, Saquon Barkley and Derrick Henry. When you have a star running back, things get infinitely easier on you in the red zone. I mean, infinitely easier on you. My guy, Robert LaCroix. We have to go forward under the impression that he won't be available for the start of the season. And if he is, bonus, as in bonus noches. Buenos noches for our opponents. Our guy, CGR, letting them know to tell a friend to tell a friend. My guy, Kush Mob. I think we know your answer to this. But if we had the same chance last year to sign Wilkins and Leonard Williams, who you sign? Without Wilkins having a Jones fracture. I mean, bro, it would look. I'm a big Leonard Williams guy. I always have been. I like Leonard Williams, but player for player, it would be Christian Wilkins. He's a younger player. It would be Christian Wilkins. 100% it would be Christian Wilkins. But the thing is, a lot of some of these signings that have been done by Spytek and Pete, go back into what kind of player the person is, and it also goes into the relationships. Relationships in real life and relationships in the National Football League are huge. Relationships are effing huge. The F up out of here. Let me give you Dave Zahn's in the place, man. Enjoy yourself, David Zahn. Enjoy yourself. Solly said Christian Wilkins all day and twice on Sunday. Listen, man, I can't even get mad at you, man. I cannot get mad at you. My guy David Zahn is in the freaking place. Westwood with the comment of the day. The relationship between Al Bundy and Griff was huge. Oh my God, man. Westwood, what the F is wrong with you?
Angry man, what you doing here? Man, sit your ass down.
Ever besmirch the name of the great Al Bundy and the great Griff? The F is wrong with you. What touchdowns in one game, Al Bundy and his partner Griff in the shoe store? The F is wrong with you. Okay, S. Dot with his crap. We about to get back to the show. Listen, we're playing in chat a little bit. We'll be back to the show. I'm going to state it again. Stand on my words. 10 toes down. Laki Tasi, a.k.a. the Juggernaut, is the best guard on the whole team. And he double team blocked with JPJ. Grown-ass men will be moved. S. Dot. S. Dot, I'm going to do it again. S. Dot, get the F out of here. And yo, Westwood, don't you ever disrespect me. Talking about, listen, there's only one great Griff. Get the F up out of here, Westwood. Probably look like a goddamn salamander. But yo, S. Dot, how could you possibly say that Laki Tasi is the best guard on his team? Now, see, this is what's going on, bro. What you have just done is you've taken all of your credibility, you rolled it up into a little ball, you turned it sideways, and you can stick it straight up that candy ass of yours. There is no way on God's green earth that you can tell me that Laki Tasi is the best guard in this locker room. And the guy's a rugby player. You haven't seen one snap from him. The F is wrong with you. Pete Carroll ain't say jack. Get that F up out of here. When did you hear Pete Carroll say that? What is that? You're making a band moment? That's that. You know who said it? Diddy said it. Now what? the F up out of here with your crap, S. Dot. You go get the article and put it in the chat, S. Dot. You say Pete Carroll said he's the best guard on Pete Carroll, Lockie Tassi. He praised his potential and his progress. He said that his unique skills give him a strong lower body. Now let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see what Pete Carroll said about him. Now, I'm sitting up here. I'm reading it. I'm reading it. The 6'6", 369-pound rug player. Join the Raiders. Let's see. I didn't know who Joy Mayalta was, Tassi said on ESPN. So he's talking about Joy Mayalta, whatever. But wait, hold on. Carroll said walking in know nothing about football during a recent press conference. He's made tremendous progress. He's enormous, the biggest guy you've ever seen. He's so fun to watch. We got to keep an eye on him. It's an exciting process. Wait, he's strong and intriguing at a combination of developmental tools, stature, and mindset. Carroll said his staff is banking on while Tassi's position isn't set in stone. So what did he? You guys got to let me know. I missed that. Did Pete Carroll say he was the best guard? Is this what you guys are telling me? Is this what you guys are telling me? Wait, what the F? What'd you say? Watch your mouth. You talk to a fellow boss when you're having nothing but love. I know O-line. No, you get the F up out of here, S. Dot. You watch your effing mouth. The F is wrong with you. Come up in here telling me what the effing do. Pete Carroll never said that. That's what I'm talking about. And Jaire, what the F are you talking about? You guys are destroying the show. You know what? There's some blockings about to go around right now. That's enough of this crap. Some blockings that I can't believe my own chat has erupted on. God! Wow! What's wrong with you guys? See, this is a nice show, and now it's derailed with anger. Gonna clean this mess up. Now we're gonna get back to some show. This chat has been filthy. Thank you, Classic Man Q. This is a family show, and here you guys go with your crap. Now let's get back to some more show. Guys, that's what I'm talking about. You guys are talking about Lockie Tassi like he's Richie Incognito. Like he's Gabe Jackson or something. The guy hasn't taken a snap yet in the National Football League. Yo, the only thing, listen, Pete Carroll said Lockie Tassi was his favorite player to watch in terms of pause his size and pause his development. That's all he said. You guys are a bunch of lying degenerates. Yo, let me tell you something, S. Dot. If Lockie Tassi doesn't make this effing team because they don't have that designation for the foreign-born players and stuff to where they don't count against the roster. If Lockie Tassi don't make this team, S. Dot, you will be put in the gulags for an entire episode. And Dave's on. You better watch your effing mouth. Watch your mouth, Dave's on. Watch your effing mouth. Think you're funny, Desert Raider. There you go. To the gulags you go. To the gulags you effing go. So, guys, we talking about Christian Wilkins. We went over that, man. We went over the Christian Wilkins situation already. We went over the Christian Wilkins situation already. Now, if you guys would like me to go back into it, we can. So, look, guys, let's get into some more Raider stuff, man. Let's get into some more, man. Let's get into some of the stuff with Jack Besh, right? Let's get into it. Do you guys want to get into some stuff about Jack Besh? I mean, I want to know. What do you guys want to get into here, man? Little Jack Besh stuff here up in here. Look, man, I am of the estimation, right? You know, that Jack Besh is going to be a day one starter for the Raiders, right? There's been a lot of controversy. You know, Besh has a situation where, you know, the market has been set. He was unsigned. There's all these rumors. People are saying, you know, he's got his contract. He's ready to rock and roll. But he's a guy that, to me, has been balling, right? And to me, I think he's definitely going to be a starter. And see, this is the thing. Just want to know if Wilkins will play at the start of the season. Thanks, bro. We can't tell you that right now. We can't tell you that. What we can tell you is that we went through his medicals, right? And it is looking like Christian Wilkins had a little bit of a setback. And I think that Christian Wilkins is going to have a situation where, you know, him being in and out of the walking boot kind of shows me that he will be like, and this is just me guessing, right? I don't have any inside information. I'm not going to sit up here and lie to you guys, but just going through the sequence of events with Christian Wilkins, it shows me that we're going to have Christian Wilkins pretty early in the season. Now, this is the thing, right? The Raiders don't have to tell anybody whether he went under the knife again. And I don't think he did. And if he didn't go under the knife again, that is a great thing. You know, but if I'm being honest, I mean, he's had an awful long time for this thing to heal. Right. And I know we are all very worried about this. I mean, he got hurt week 5 last year, man. Week 5. And a lot of people say, yo, if Christian Wilkins out for the season, no need to rush him. I mean, let's really look at the Christian Wilkins contract. Because if Christian Wilkins doesn't play for us this season, I would think that if he doesn't play for us this season, Christian Wilkins probably won't suit up for us again. Because if I'm John Spytek, right? If I'm John Spytek, I'm not signing up for that again. I'm not signing up for that again. So let's get into Christian Wilkins' contract, right? Let me pull this up for you guys. Let's workshop this right here on Raider Nation Unlimited, man. Let's workshop this. Yo, this is why I love this show, man. This is exactly why. This is in real time. That's why the live format is such an awesome format. All right, now look. So Christian Wilkins was here last year. That year's gone. 2025, right? It's a guaranteed salary of $8 million. His cap number is $18.1 million. The dead cap money pre-June 1st would be $56 million. post June 1st, which is already over $27 million. Right now, the thing is, the Raiders could get out of that contract post June 1st next year. Next year, it will leave the Raiders in a situation where they can get out of that contract post June 1st at $500,000. So that contract was set up great, to be honest with you. And they probably would, and then he'd be going into 2027 with zero guaranteed money. So he'd probably want to renegotiate anyway. So the Raiders can effectively get out of that deal post June 1st next year if Christian Wilkins doesn't play this year. So that's the thing. I think if you don't see Christian Wilkins and get a heaping helping of Christian Wilkins this year, then that's pretty much that. That's pretty much that. And I'm going to be honest with you, with JJ Pegues, with Tonka Hemingway, with Adam Butler, and then you never know who'll be available next year. Look, man, Christian Wilkins, we never knew ye. Christian Wilkins, we never knew ye. I'm telling you right now, look, Christian Wilkins better get back out there. Because, look, man, if he does not, and we got over 500 in the room, get wasted with your brother wasted. If he does not, that is a problem for him and his career. My guy, Ray DeLoso. Oh, we got into this one. Got in this one. Hold on. Happy belated Father's Day. Thank you, my guy Arlen Howard. It was a very uneventful day yesterday. Appreciate the Father's Day love, and shout out to all of you guys out there who are fathers. Shout out to all my great fathers. Shout out to all my marginal fathers, and shout out to all the deadbeats who pose for the gram just because it's Father's Day. They never get their kids all year. Shout out to you guys too. Man, look, every day, look, when you're blessed to have your children with you and you're in their life and stuff like that, every day's Father's Day. Ain't nothing special for me, bro. I don't make a big deal out of Father's Day. Every day's Father's Day. I've been blessed to be here with my kids every day of their life, and I hope I can continue to be in their life every single day. Love my girls. Every day's Father's Day to me, bro. Every day. And hey, guys, if you guys have not become a member, what the F are you waiting for? S. Now, I don't even know if I should even read this with your filth earlier. How many defensive tackles are wanting to play that we have? Let's count. The F are you talking about? Yo, shout out to my guy Andy in the place, man. Andy, what's up, bro? But guys, look, this Christian Wilkins thing, it needs to kind of happen, right? Now, like I said before, I can't see a world where Christian Wilkins does not play this season. I think we're being a bit hyperbolic, right? I think that, and shout out to Andy, man. I can't just glaze over the fact that Andy just popped up, man. Shout out to the YouTube legend, my dog Andy in the place, man. But at the end of the day, right? This is a big year for Christian Wilkins. This is a big year for the Raiders. Now, I think that the Raiders have some guardrails to allowing him to heal, right? The play of Tonka Hemingway, young, agile guy. Pete Carroll spoke last week about how he's bringing his rookies on. He drafted his rookies to play. He drafted his rookies to play, right? So Tonka Hemingway, JJ Pegues, these are guys that are active, young bodies that can get in there and get it done. Adam Butler, all of these young guys, man, I think the Raiders are going to be okay, man. A lot of times when you start talking about the big uglies up front, a lot of the play of that unit is more so like a war of attrition. These are big guys that sometimes need to have that kind of, rotation. So it's just fresh player after fresh player after fresh player, because on the offensive line, you don't have that same advantage, right? Offensive line groups are kind of locked in stone. You don't spell guys in and out the way you do with the defensive line. So the defensive line, you keep putting in fresh player after fresh player after fresh player that wears on an offensive unit, especially when you have a kind of a middle of the road offensive line, right? Being relentless. That's why, the Raiders, from what I see, the biggest, and I want to touch on this because I had a thumbnail before. The one of the biggest things the Raiders need to happen to take that ascension and take that step forward is for Tyree Wilson to take a step forward. Now, Tyree Wilson is the 7th pick in the draft. This is a guy that should probably be, on the trajectory to be, one of the better players in this league when you draft a player that high. This is what you're expecting, right? So Tyree Wilson is a lot more important than people think, right? Now, we talk about Malcolm Koonce. Malcolm Koonce is coming off an injury. We don't know exactly what Malcolm Koonce is. There are a lot of people that would swear to you up and down that Malcolm Koonce is a great pass rusher and he's going to play great for us, but we don't know that. And that's part of the reason why, I saw an article today and I wanted to get into it. I think the Raiders should really go out there. And I don't think the Raiders are done adding to this roster. It all depends on what we're seeing from Tyree and what we're seeing from some of the guys on this roster. But I think the Raiders should go out there and kick the tires on Matthew Judon. Now, I know that Matthew Judon is a guy that you would have probably thought that the Raiders would have kicked the tires on had McDumbass still been here. But I'm going to be honest with you. Matthew Judon is the perfect complimentary pass rusher on the cheap for where the Raiders are. Now Tyree Wilson has made some strides in camp. People are talking about his footwork. He's in better shape, and and these are things that we've heard before. But the one thing that we have not touched on is the fact that when Tyree Wilson came out, and I was not the biggest Tyree Wilson guy. You guys know that. I didn't want him, and I wanted Jalen Carter, and we all wanted Jalen Carter. But the one thing that has not been talked about is the fact that this is his first full offseason being healthy. When he came out, he had the foot injury. When he came out, he had the foot injury. And last year he had some setbacks. And, Tyree Wilson, this is a year where he really, 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 really can lock in. I'll be honest with you. Look, and if it was a 5th, we'll all be drunk, Rudy. Look, I know everybody, and see, this is the problem with a lot of this, right? We're judging Tyree Wilson. We're judging, and CJ, you can't say that. I never said I didn't want Brock. I just wanted a quarterback. I wanted Michael Penix Jr. And then when they didn't get him, I was a little disappointed, but it is what it is, man. I'm glad that we got Brock Bowers. Hindsight being 2020, right? But if we're being honest, right, we have to take the whole Jalen Carter thing out of this conversation. We cannot continue to judge this kid up against somebody who he isn't. We have to judge Tyree Wilson based off of what he does for the Raiders, how dedicated he is. Now, when you start talking about Tyree Wilson, you're talking about a guy that's a hard worker. You're talking about a guy that has a lot of physical skills. You're talking about a guy that is working at his craft and trying to strive to get better. So to me, that's nothing but right. Most of the time, success is when preparation and opportunity meet. So his preparation is good. He has the opportunity. Let's see if it meets and we can get some success here with this guy. Because at the end of the day, look, you've already made that commitment as an organization, right? This is his make or break year. This is his make or break year. And to be honest with you, the good thing is that we are not depending solely on Tyree Wilson. So the pressure is just really on himself. The only thing he has to do is play within himself. Look, if I'm being honest, Tyree Wilson with 6 or 7 sacks is a great season for us. Tyree Wilson, better technique. Tyree Wilson that you can move on the inside of the defensive line, especially with Christian Wilkins having the issues he's having, and get you some pass rush in the middle, being on the field the same time as a Malcolm Koonce, the same time as a Max Crosby, the same time next to some of these big uglies up there. Look, man, Tyree Wilson is really set up to be successful. He's really, really set up to be successful. You know, but I can't sit up here and live in a world where if we drafted Jalen Carter and all of this and that, we didn't. Jalen Carter he's already got Super Bowl jewelry right now. He's an Eagle. It is what it is. That was the best case scenario for him. You know, and the thing is that, listen, yeah, Jalen Carter is a monster, right? But would that look the same way here with us, right? Would he be able to play within himself and stay out of trouble with us? I think that was the perfect situation for him. He was in a situation where he was with, and we talked about this a long, long time. He was in a situation where he was around loved ones. He was around guys that understand him. He's around a coaching staff who understands how to use his talents. He didn't have a whole lot of pressure on him. And guys, look, we're gonna do the members. Yo, my guy Darth Rader's in a place, man. We're gonna do some members only stuff too, guys. So listen, if you guys want to join the membership, go right on ahead. We have cookies. Johnny Ramirez, Tyree is a fraud. The bums that drafted him are frauds. That's why they are gone. Just imagine if we drafted Jalen Carter. Oh my God, Johnny Ramirez, what the F did I just tell you? Did you hear what I just?
Angry man, what you doing here? Man, sit your ass down.
F is wrong with you, bruh.
That's a tutorial that says you know what the fuck you doing.
What is wrong with you, Johnny Ramirez? I just said that we cannot judge this man off of who he is. We can only judge him on who he is, what he can do for the Raiders, what he's actually doing for the Raiders. Is he working at his craft? Is he working hard? He's not going full Jamarcus Russell, right? He's not scissored up. He's not fat. He's working hard. I mean, what the F? And Alex M, there will be no brownies for you. We do not condone that kind of filth over here, Raider Nation Unlimited. What? Who the F? Gino is a poor man's Derek Carr. You're a poor F up out of here with your crap. The F are you talking about? Look, let me tell you guys something, man. I don't have the bandwidth for this filth. I don't. I'm telling you right now. I am telling you right now. Look, you will be put in the gulags. You'll be put in the gulags.
Shut your brain, man.
The F up out of here with this crap. Oh, man. My dog, David Zone, wasted. We have had lots of guys that have worked hard and still didn't pan out. The math ain't math, and I want results, no more excuses. And that's fair. That is fair, David Zone. David Zone, that is as fair of an assessment as you've ever come up with, man. You're cooking with gas. Now, you don't come up with a lot of good comments or ideas very much, David Zone, but this happens to be one of them, Dave Zone. This happens to be one of them, man. The Bar A representative himself. I'm going to tell you like this, man. Dave, the only thing you can ask for as a fan, the only thing you can ask for when you start trying to connect the dots on how successful this guy's going to be is you look at the archetype of the kind of player he is, right? He is a physical specimen, right? So that's one check, right? Then you have a guy that is an all-pro that plays the same position as him, right? That's a check. Then you have a defensive-minded head coach. That's a check. That has routinely developed great players. That's a check. And then this is a kid who is bought in and he's working. He's working and he's healthy for the first time in a long freaking time. I mean, bro, if that doesn't spell the best case scenario for him getting to a successful place, I don't know what does. Now, I am no shield for Tyree Wilson. You guys know I had one of the epic meltdowns in Raider YouTube history when Tyree Wilson was drafted. I did, and I'm not gonna lie to you, man. I'm not gonna lie to you. But we have to exist in that world. We have to exist in that world, man. I mean, Pete Carroll is coming here, man, and we talk about the vision that he's bringing to the Raiders, man. He stepped it up here, man. He's bringing a relentless mindset, and I'm telling you, guys like Tyree Wilson need to get with it or get lost. I mean, look, the mantra of the Raiders now is always compete. And if you guys see the way practices and how OTAs have been, it is more than just a slogan, man. It's a guiding principle for these dudes, man. The atmosphere inside the Raiders facility, from everything that I've been told and everything that I see, is indicative of what Pete Carroll has brought to the Raiders, man. And I'm telling you right now, this whole situation where we get Raider PTSD, we cannot do that with these guys, man. I have to give my faith to Pete Carroll. I gotta give my faith to him, and I gotta root for the kid. I'm not gonna come here and crap all over this guy. I'm not doing it. DeMarcus Webb, wasted. A lot of folks can't walk back what they said about Tyree. So it fits the narrative for everyone if he doesn't play well. Nasty work. Yeah, it's almost like a lot of people are rooting for him to fail so that they can be right. Bro, I am going to be 100% real with you. I hope I'm 100% wrong about Tyree Wilson. I really do. Because to me, it's about the Raiders. It's not about how I look as a pundit and me being right. Being right means this to me when it's something negative against the outcome of this team. I'm a Raider first. And that's how you should all be looking at this as well. And I don't mean to get on my soapbox, but I don't give a damn. Everybody, gather around. Gather around the fire. Wasted talent is at the soapbox, and I got to let myself cook. Oh, it is time to cook, ladies and gents. My God. R8R Ray 775. Rooting for Tyree. Hope he pans out. Dude was drafted in the wrong spot. And that's the thing. You can't blame him for being overdrafted. I have no animus towards Cleve Farrell either. But if I'm being honest, right, the difference between Tyree Wilson and Cleveland Farrell is like the rest of us, and people in the NBA, a couple of inches of height. Tyree Wilson is twice the specimen of Cleve Farrell. Let's be for real here. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it, guys. Appreciate it. I appreciate it, man. Yo, it feels like there are adults in the building that have the vision and, more importantly, the resume to show the fans that they know what they are doing. Man, look, I'm going to be honest with you, and that's one of the reasons why I'm not losing my marbles about this whole situation, right? I'm not. Look. You got a situation in Cincinnati, man. You guys see that thing going on with Shamar Stewart? This guy, man. Jeez, man. Like the Raiders did. We did a great job with our draft, man. Right? We got second round to Jack Best, right? And he was the only guy that's not yet under contract, right? But Besh was still expected to sign. I've heard that he signed, heard that he got his deal done, and they're saying that he's going to get his deal done by the start of camp. I don't know if I missed it, but there are a lot of people that said he signed, but I don't know. I'm going to go and look. But there's zero controversy between Besh and the team, right? But the Shamar Stewart thing, and this is I know it's the Bengals, but I just find it interesting. They're saying that Shamar Stewart is talking about sitting out the year and going back into the draft next year, which is insane to me. It is insane to me. Insane. So, Wasted, what type of downs would you play Tyree Wilson? Passing, short yardage, third and long. What's your opinion? I mean, look, I'm playing Tyree Wilson on all downs like that. But the difference is it all depends on, you know, how that first step is, right? Now, if I'm trying to pin my ears back, I move Tyree Wilson to the inside and put him in there with Max and Coons. So I'd move him all around. I'd have Tyree Wilson. I'd give him a full myriad of scenarios to make sure you can develop the whole player, right? Because you kind of owe it to yourself to exhaust all the possibilities of what kind of player this kid is. You know, everybody says everything but pass rushing downs. Pass rushing a lot of times is about technique, leverage. You know, it's about speed and quickness and things of that nature. But I think if, you know, Tyree Wilson has enough, you know, his power rush is supreme, right? He has enough skills. He has enough length and range to string together. Look, man, just that guy should roll out of bed and get 8 sacks. I'm going to be real with you. Anything else will be uncivilized. And I'm listen, man, Tyree he will have more sacks than Kuntz, my gut feeling. And I hope so, bro. I hope we have a situation. And Cisco Duarte, I know he's going to be a menace against the run. I know he is. That's one of the reasons why I'm worried about Christian Wilkins, but I'm low-key not. Because I really, really want to see how this Tyree thing, you know, spills out. I really do. Now, look, man. The thing is this, man. We start talking about Best, right? There's no contract dispute, but they got to get this guy wrapped up, man. And this is the thing, man. People don't understand what's going on, right? Why isn't he signed, right? But league insider John McClain was asked about Best's contract, right? And I'm going to tell you why. They said they can blame that on the Texans. They have a fully guaranteed contract with their first pick and a second round pick, Jaden Higgins. And then the Browns did it with Carson Schlesinger, the UCL linebacker. And that's what it is. You know, Jack Best said, yo, if they're getting that, then hey, I'm at the top of the line. What's up? And I can see it. But at the end of the day, there's no animus, but they got to get that thing done, bro. They do. Now, do I think he deserves a guaranteed contract in the second round? You get what you ask for, right? So stand on 10, Jack, but make sure it doesn't derail the beginning of your career so that you have other contracts. My guy, Jack Burton, Plainfield's very own. If the Raiders have another draft like this year, the NFL is in serious trouble. Let's hope. We don't even know how these guys are going to pan out. I think that they did a great job, a tremendous job. But let's see how it all works out, right? And look, yo, I can't blame Best either, man. Look, when it comes to players and contracts and things of that nature, I really like to reserve my judgment on passing judgment on these guys. That is never what I'm into. I'm never into passing judgment on players when it's about them getting their money, man. Because it's very, very important that they get their money, bro. Now, guys, there's another guy that's out there that I want to talk about before we get off of the year, right? And he's a guy who played with the Cincinnati Bengals as well, right? That's Mike Hilton. That's Mike Hilton. Now, Mike Hilton is a guy that's primarily a nickel cornerback, right? It sounds like a good idea. People say that the Raiders are eyeing him. I don't know. There are a lot of people that's saying that he's going to come and join Jermaine Pratt. I think that's thin, that's low-hanging fruit because they play for the same organization, right? But what we got to look at is that, you know, what is Mike Hilton's market value, right? So last year, he had a base salary of $5.7 million, $1 million signing proration, $200,000 workout bonus. Cap hit of $7.5 million. I think that number goes down, right? And because he's another year older, right? And he's out there on the market again now, and he's a year older now. Mike Hilton's 31 years old, such as Justin Simmons too, right? And when I look at what the Raiders got going on, right, I don't think a move like Mike Hilton really moves the needle. I don't think so. It's a nice little move because he's a name, but I would prefer to see the Raiders kind of find a solution to their nickel cornerback situation in the building. And if they're going to make a move for a corner, I would like it to be a higher profile player, if I'm being honest. Now, he had a 75.9 overall grade, 58.8 pass rushing grade, a 97.1 run defensive grade. That is excellent from a nickel cornerback, and a 68.8 coverage grade, right? So last year he had 63 solo tackles. He had 38 stops. That's big from a corner. That is big, man. That is big. He had 1 interception, 6 missed tackles, pretty decent short, especially for a defensive back. That's excellent, right? 6 total pressures, 2 pass breakups, only 9 yards per reception. Only thing is, he had 106.5 rating against him in the passing game. But Mike Hilton, balled out. I mean, he had over 700 snaps last year, 422 coverage snaps, 55 pass rushing snaps, 260 rushing defensive snaps, right? And this is a guy who has been, a problem, man. He's been a freaking problem. The well-traveled, Ole Miss guy, came from the Jacksonville Jaguars, played the lion's share of his career with the Steelers and the Cincinnati Bengals, man. But, Mike Hilton, man. I mean, what do you guys think about bringing in Mike Hilton? My guy, Bourbon Raider, man. Hoping for the best this season for our Raiders. I am too, my brother. Wasted. How do you like our cornerback room right now? Would you go into the season where you are or sign a sneaky vet not named Ramsey? I would sign a sneaky vet. I'm going to be honest with you. That's why we're going over Mike Hilton. I am concerned with a room that's that green. I'm concerned. Now, if Pete feels like they're cool, then let's see. But I would be more comfortable if they went and brought somebody in. I'm going to be honest with you. Cobain says, I'm taking Hilton. It depends, bro. Because, like, for me, if I'm going to spend money and bring in a free agent, I'm going to move heaven and earth to get Jalen Ramsey. Damn that. Damn that. I'll take one of these kids that's on the roster and make them a nickel if I can get Jalen Ramsey. I mean, damn that. I mean, Alex, we have enough players on our roster, but the thing is, you can move guys off. You can make corresponding moves to get guys off once you get, and pause if necessary, once you get guys that play at the level of a Ramsey. That's a guy that takes a whole side of a field and erases it. Crazy good talent already on the team. Get them raps and let them develop in the future stars. King Crest, we don't really know that. We got guys that the idea of them are good, but we don't really know how good they really are at this point, bro. If I'm being honest, we don't know how good they really are at this point. So to me, I am always a person who is in favor of bringing in somebody who is a proven commodity, right? Leo Torres says he'd rather get Hilton and Simmons than Ramsey, and see, I can't agree with that. I mean, let's not forget who Jalen Ramsey is, man. What the young kids say, him? He's definitely him. Definitely him. Nah, I'm good on Marcus Peters, pig, right? But guys, look, man, I think it's time to roll the train back into the train station. It really is. This has been a tremendous Raider Nation Unlimited, man. And Alzado said, like he said, man, cornerback room is a high ceiling, but it's unproven. That's a fact. Cobain just wants anybody, and I feel that. I feel that, bro. No, and Leo Torres, Justin Simmons is a safety, bro. He's a safety. I like Justin Simmons, right? But these guys are all, look, and I like Justin Simmons, but he's a safety. And he's most likely going to go to the Eagles. But Justin Simmons, on his best day, has never been Jalen Ramsey. You better get the F up out of here. But guys, listen, man. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Thank you. You guys are far too kind. Listen. It's time to roll the train to the train station, guys. You guys know what it is, man.
Yesterday's price is not today's price.
Tell y'all something, man. The price is going up. The show is going up. Business is booming. Raider content is booming. You guys buckle up because I'm telling you, man, it is going to be a terrific season, and we're going to be here the whole time. My guy Ken Kresh just became a member of the Waste Talent Army. I appreciate you, my brother. But yo, Leo Torres, appreciate you, man. Anthony said, worst show ever. Anthony, you were blocked. The F up out of here. But you guys have a terrific night. Love every single one of you guys. Appreciate everybody who, man, watched, hit that like, hit that subscribe, hit the super, became a member. I mean, what the F ever, man. I am so blessed that all of you guys rock with this channel like that, and I appreciate every single one of you guys. Listen, man, we are out of here like yesterday, man. We will be back this week rocking and rolling for the masses. You guys have a terrific night. Peace.